News for the locals, but it is just part of a wider multi-million-dollar investment the government's made in a new state highway construction in the Hawke's Bay region over the current NLTP.
Excellent.
Question number 12, Gareth Hughes.
What steps, if any, I'll repeat that, to the Minister of Finance, what steps, if any, is he taking to reduce New Zealand's economic vulnerability that stems from dependence on oil?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, the government is moving to ensure that in the light of any number of potential international pressures or economic shocks, we have a resilient economy where price changes flow through quickly and people have the opportunity to adapt to those price changes as they will if the price of oil continues to rise.
Gareth Hughes.
Is he aware of the UK government's recent carbon plan, which sets out a number of government actions which reduce their economic dependence on oil, and why doesn't New Zealand have such a plan?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, New Zealand did have some kind of carbon plan put together by the last government, but any analysis I saw of it showed that they were very expensive ways of reducing carbon, and we actually favour the emissions trading system, which I know the Greens favour as well.
Gareth Hughes.
Supplementary. Is the Minister aware of the Dunedin City Council's Peak Oil Vulnerability Analysis Report, which identifies local government actions to prepare for high oil prices, and why doesn't the national government undertaking a similar analysis?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, I haven't been aware of that report, but it's likely that it's not going to be particularly effective, judging from the title of it and the fact that a local council has very little opportunity to actually influence the vulnerability of the Western world to its use of oil.
Gareth Hughes.
Well, will the Minister act on the recommendations of the 2008 New Zealand Transport Agency report, Managing Transport Challenges as Oil Prices Rise, which advises government to cease all new motorway building until government funding and regulations that increase our dependence on oil have been removed?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, I'd expect that under this government's program to upgrade our roading infrastructure, people will have more choices, for instance, to catch buses, and it's an issue I'd be interested in discussing with the Greens. A successful public transport system will certainly rely on buses as the main form of public transport, and buses need roads that are not totally congested, otherwise they can't provide a service to the public.
Gareth Hughes.
To the Minister, what percentage of commuter bus services does he expect to use the Waikato Expressway, the Puhoi to Wellsford Holiday Highway, or any of the other 5 planned motorway projects? And doesn't he agree that investment in buses and trains would make the existing road network more efficient than new motorways?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, the Waikato Expressway is a vital infrastructural artery for our export economy. While commuters have interests and the government needs to invest in transport infrastructure to meet the needs of commuters, it's more important actually that we have an economy that can earn and be competitive in the world, and that is why we do focus on some infrastructure outside of the main cities.
Gareth Hughes.
Supplementary. To the Minister, how can New Zealanders respond to price signals and change their travel behaviour when his government is prioritising $10 billion on expensive motorways over other essential public transport projects like Auckland CBD rail loop?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, the feature of the government's program is that it has maintained significant investment in public transport, such as the Auckland rail network and the Wellington commuter rail network, alongside a significant investment in roads. And we believe the combination of the two will lift our productivity and increase the prospects of sustainable economic growth in the future. We accept that, of course, rising oil prices and rising petrol prices may well change behaviours. People are making those decisions one by one right now. We don't believe that there is an overall bureaucratic plan that will do a better job of adapting than what individual New Zealanders can do.
Gareth Hughes.
To the Minister, given that oil makes up 16% of our imports and 99% of our transport fuels, why is the government failing to act responsibly by developing a national strategy to reduce our oil dependency like many other countries or local councils are doing?
The Honourable Bill English.
Oh, well, Mr Speaker, because we don't see a strategy as a replacement for action. And I know that's a radical change in approach from a New Zealand government. But every day New Zealanders are making decisions to change behaviour based on changes in the oil price, and we think largely they're making pretty sensible decisions.
Point of order, Gareth Hughes.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave to table two documents. The first is a letter revealed under the OIA from the New Zealand Transport Agency, which states there's been no modelling of high oil prices for the roads of national significance.
That document. Is there any objection? There is no objection.
My second document I seek leave to table is the research report 357 commissioned by the New Zealand Transport Agency managing transport challenges as oil prices rise, which recommends ceasing spending on the motorways.
Leave is sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is objection. The House now comes to questions to members, and question 1 stands in the name of the